Here I see the concentration here is more, and the concentration here is less. Should I count?
Yes.
They'll come to
That's it.
They're going to give braces.
Oh, okay. Okay, friends, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Mohan. Basically, I used to be an entrepreneur and I had a chance to sell my company. I'm right now associated with Management. Now I floated one more company on cloud identity. That is giving solution on cloud-based stuff. This is a very brief introduction. So, the first task for me, which is very difficult, is make your weight right. That's what it means. Post-lunch session, the first session is always going to be a challenge. Let me see how much I'm justifying. I'm not sure. Let me try to do the maximum justification. Okay, friends. So I just wanted to understand from you guys about. Yeah, please. So, what is lean? Basically. Excellent. With the first session, I'm getting a definition. Lean as thin, basically because the moment I asked about lean, people say reducing the waste, bringing the process together, keeping things in tight, all the other answers. The simple meaning of lean is thin, and only from that this particular concept of lean is derived. So, next thing is, you know what? If I say the Six Sigma itself is lean, how many of you are going to accept, or how many of you are going to not?
Six Sigma is what?
Six Sigma itself is lean. Yeah. You know a little bit about there is the overall view of Six Sigma. That's enough. With that itself, I can say, if you would have just gone back to the previous sessions and just to trace back whatever Dr. Kanagara has given you, from that I think you'll be able to get Six Sigma itself is lean. You would have seen some graphs, right? So how was the graph?
Normal.
Yeah, it was normal, right? So something like this, something like this. Right? So when this is said to be a 3 Sigma, this is 3 Sigma, and this is said to be a 6 Sigma, what do we see?
The range
It's thin.
The range is less.
Yeah. So the variation is less, so it's becoming thin. So 6 Sigma is a subset of lean. Can I say that? Hope you can understand set and subset, right? Okay. So 6 Sigma is nothing but, to my expressions or to my feeling, I would say 6 Sigma is a subset of lean. So lean is more on the broader perspective. And one more thing, you know what? Lean, 6 Sigma deals more with calculations, facts, and a lot of statistical tools need to be used in 6 Sigma. In lean, it's not statistical tool, it's a simple tool that we can use. How many of us are aware if I say 5 years? Oh, great. That's it. So I think I can wind up this session and we can sleep for 1 hour. We are done. So this is fantastic then. So all of you are done 5 years. So just by applying 5 years itself, you can make the process more stable. So in the following slide, I will also be showing a couple of things. Okay. So overall, lean is making things thin. Likewise, reducing your variation is also a kind of making your graph thin. So 6 Sigma very much follows lean. Okay. So here is one basic ground rule that you need to have in your mind. That is, lean is simple. Now to have in your mind that lean is simple. It's not as complicated as it is as simple as anything. So why lean is simple? Because it suggests you to see waste. is enough if you see waste. So maybe in your childhood, I don't know how many of your parents would have told you, hey, come on man, I don't want you to read, just take a book and have a look. The concept is the moment you take a book, intentionally or unintentionally, you will try to have a look. This is one concept like that. You know what? If you happen to see the waste, you cannot keep yourself quiet. You will always automatically try to do how to reduce the waste. That is what brain is all about. So, after seeing the thing, you will immediately see that what are the possible ways that you can eliminate the waste. Right? Okay. By what? Continuously improving it. Here is one professional study from Harvard. Why do students learn or go to school rather? Change the word as learn to go to school. There? You have no other option. There is something called home education. You can have a private coach. How do you think sons and daughters of ministers are learning? Options are there. We can afford, we cannot afford, put that thing aside. Okay.
Get out of the comfort zone.
They are not in the comfort zone. Okay. Social income. Okay. Okay.
To
The
become
learning platform becomes a little bit broader. But you know what? Harvard is going to give you an entirely different scenario. They go to school only to show up to class. That is the primary objective. Okay. The secondary objective is even more funny. So how many of you sit in the front desk? Maybe not now, yesteryears. Oh, okay. Never. That's good. So why they have conducted a study of this, and it's a proven research by Harvard. You know what? The people who sit in the front row tend to score more exams. This is what is the conclusion of Harvard, not mine. That's what I said. This is what. See, they have taken a sample from that. They have spent some huge amount of $5 million and find this. So there may be some value. Maybe. Okay, the concept what I am going to tell, after that you ask me the same question. The idea of saying this is, you know what, when you are a front desk person, how often you sleep? What choice you have? But to listen only to your teachers. So naturally, if you happen to listen without splitting up your concentration, you are definitely going to score well. That's the base bottom line, right? That's what Harvard did. Not necessarily you have to be in the front bench to score high mark, but people, those who sit in the front desk, the possibility, quote unquote, of scoring high mark is higher. That's what he says. So now, how many of you agree this?
So in fact, French people have the advantage of sleeping more because they
Have the advantage?
Yeah, they have an advantage of sleeping more
Because teachers do not notice.
See them with cheesies only at the back.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought the first view will come only to the front
I've
row.
seen this practically.
Oh, really? Okay. I count on your experience. Yeah, I count on your experience.
Depends on the sample size. The size is pretty big size. It's like we've been ordered regular.
That's good anyway. So I'm not thinking about any particular case. I'm just trying to translate what Harvard did to you people. It's a knowledge sharing. Okay. So why do people go to work? Again, so people who practice lead doesn't go to work just for working. They just try to see around and see what and all they can improve. What, AC is not okay or? It's okay. So what and all they can improve. That's what the advantage of lead. Everything you see, what best you can improve. That is the motive, basic motive of lead. Right now, the key, you keep on improve one small step will contribute maybe little, but definitely on a higher side when you try to travel along for the company's good. That is the great advantage with respect to. Okay. So lean people go to work for improving everything they see. Okay. In this process, they will work easy. See, for example, one of the one of the internet stories I read. It's about a company whose CEO said, from now to this month end, I am taking a lean drive where anybody and everybody in this organization need to show at least a micron improvement daily. That was the thing which was communicated to people. Everybody tried something. Actually, the award winner was a lower level sub-staff. You know what he did? He used to watch what's happening inside the organization. We used to have a huge Xerox machine, but the paper loading tray was the bottommost part of the Xerox machine. So every time people load the paper, they need to take the paper, bend and load it. So he made a small adjustment in the thing that the moment you open, he made a lever through thread or something that by standing you can pull so that the tray can come up. Without bending, you can load and leave. It's a very, very small improvement if you happen to see that. But from whom it has come, that is the thing for which he has got the award. A person of his caliber able to think that the workload can be reduced by some improvement like this, then this is the power of lean. This is the power of seeing what can be improved even in our day-to-day activity. So that's what, they make things easier. End of the day, when you make things easier, you have a lot of time, you can produce more perfection. End of the day, you will make your customer happy. So this is one famous thing. Mostly all of our elders would be saying to us. Instead of you looking at the world, come on man, make the world look at you. Be somebody. So that the world can look at you. So lean can enable you with that. By practicing lean methodology, as Kanagara said, our day in and day out life we can practice. We talk about, of course, we are going to deal with it a little bit later about 5 years, but just take a step back and see the entire 5 years can be used in our day in and day out life, right from the time we get up from the bed until we go to bed. If you really think, phenomenal improvement can be made in our daily activities. Provided you wanted to do it or not is a separate question, keep that aside. But if you try to go back and think, I'm quite sure every one of us can have a tremendous improvement in our day in, day out activities. So let's see some flow. So first, you specify the value, understand the demand, flow, pull, perfection, and input. Okay. So these two terms, how many of us are aware of this? What is flow? Continuous process moving from one to other. Yeah. What is pull?
Bringing in.
Pull is bringing in. Yes. That's a direct meaning.
Accelerate.
Accelerate. No. What else it's accelerate? Attracting. Not exactly. See, for example, we talked about inventory in the morning. Right? What is JIT? What does it mean?
Means the
Procurement for production at not last moment, at the customer's requirement. When there is a requirement, they will pull. That's called JIT is one methodology. Right? When there is a requirement, then you draw it. Till such time, you don't have to think about it. So, how many of us are, of course, every one of us are aware of Dell? How many of us are using Dell systems? Well, how many of us have ordered Dell system through web? Okay, how many of us have made service calls to Dell? Okay, so what is your experience with service call? What do they do?
They call and talk.
No. A customer can call, what do they say? That's a good point. Okay, if they don't say, you can welcome them also. That's not a problem. So, they'll ask you to perform a set of actions, right? They'll ask you to say, press control and press F7, press control and press F12, all those things. And they will say, there is a problem in your RAM shaft, we'll come and replace the RAM. Or, there is a problem with your monitor shaft, we'll come and replace the monitor. This is how they do. So, this is how they service. Imagine, when you order Dell, you have to pay in advance. Meaning, when you're ordering Dell through web, you will be asked to pay through your credit card or something, and you will be delivered to the system in 7 days or 8 days, whatever. Dell always exceeds expectation. They say 7 days, they will deliver in 5 days. No doubt about it. Here, what happens, just if you try to look around, they take the money from you, and then only they go for the procurement. It's a fantastic idea for me. There is an interesting story about Michael also. So when he was doing his college, people were going for fishing. So everybody started fishing the moment he went to the site, and Michael didn't even know he was trying to make something very unique. So close to lunch, people just came to him and said, "Come on, Michael, we'll start. We have almost done half." Then he said, "I thought of doing something in the post-lunch session." Then in the post-lunch session, when he went, you know what? His fish collection was the highest among every one of them. That's basically because he was designing a net in such a way that in one throw, it is likely to fetch in more number of fishes. So such a kind of a very, very unique personality is Michael. So he was the only person who introduced this first. Previously, gateway. How many of us are aware of something called gateway computers?
Notice?
No, computers, gateway. Gateway wasn't computers. They used to have this factory in Alaska. So, first gateway started. But because of his bad business model, that got followed. Then Michael Dell came with this option of online selling. And previously, you know what, now you can go buy a Dell in the shop. Just 5 years before you cannot. You can only do online orders. They can never, they don't want to outsource their thing at all. Recently, just before 5-6 years, they started outsourcing it, and the people are there for Dell. And you know what? How Dell is so successful, a couple of years before, Compaq and HP got merged. How many of us are aware of this? HP. Compaq and HP got merged. You know for what? What reason they got merged? Why? Why should they get merged? They want to kill Dell. Dell was number one, all through. So they want to kill. Compaq, so long, so many years they were number leading. After Dell's introduction, they got shut down. So as HP.
Because that time Dell bought Alienware computer.
Right. So what happened? They wanted to push Dell out of the market. But because of Dell's strong business policies and reach to customers, even now Dell is most preferred computers for people. And the way in which is service. You take Compaq, you take HP, you take any other system, ASM, nothing can service things like Dell. That people who have experienced Dell service can understand. Basically because, end of the day, you don't have to do anything. Just make a call. If there is a problem, it will be replaced. See, end of the day, customers will be very happy when it is replaced, right? If there is a RAM problem, instead of just trying to troubleshoot the RAM, if somebody is replacing your RAM, you should be more happy. So that is that one. So he thought things so uniquely and sustained in the market so top, and he is maintaining as a top. Okay, how many of us are tech savvy, from the little bit of IT backgrounds? Okay, internet backgrounds? I think everyone. Okay, so if I write few terms, how many of us will be able to tell what is this?
Local area.
The best example. Okay, before this, I just wanted to first ask a question. Basically lean is for which industry?
Manufacturing.
That is the concept. Actually, lean is extensively practiced than manufacturing industry in dash. How? Maybe because of this you can correlate to the IT. But because lean is what, having the process as simple as possible. IaaS is infrastructure as a service. PaaS is platform as a service. SaaS is software as a service. As a service. You know the difference between owning and having it as a service, right? Cloud computing. Cloud computing is what? What service? Cloud computing can work as a platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, as well as software as a service. Exactly. Cloud is a broader framework. Cloud is more as a. Then when you talk about cloud, you should be aware of all these things also. What's that? IoT. That's the latest buzzword. Exactly. So, anybody knows about what is that? What is Internet of Things? It's a platform, okay? Okay. What? Okay, tell me one your question. From that, forget about the definition. If you happen to know some utility, please let me know. How many of us are aware of something called Fitbit? What is that?
Health.
That's it. Exactly. So, if you happen to have a Fitbit in your hand that can monitor your blood pressure, that can monitor your heartbeat, your sugar level, everything. You know what it does? It transacts from your Fitbit to your mobile through Bluetooth. The moment mobile receives the data, it takes as an SMS and sends it to your doctor. Imagine a situation where you are just walking, practicing the morning walk, and your BP got shot up. You may not even know, but your doctor will know. So he can immediately call you, say, hey, come on, your blood pressure is shooting up, immediately go check with your check nearby hospital. This is one of the utility point of QT. There is one more emerging concept. It is very, very in the primitive stage, which is called City as a Service. CaaS. That's a very, new, very raw this thing right now. See, for example, how many of everyone is aware of Los Angeles and everyone is aware of San Francisco. What they tried to do is they wanted to have a vacuum tube between Los Angeles and San Francisco, keep a person inside pushing, so that the travel time 1 hour. Such kind of services are. This is something on the technology side. On the other side, if you see Warren Buffett, he has built a robo. The robo is building a track from New York to Texas, 1 mile every day, which is monitored by one person. That's all. So building a complete railroad. Railroad is a typical traditional way of transportation for the past few centuries. Vacuum is typical high-tech technology stuff, which is also happening. So two extremes are also happening. It's not that because of IoT or PaaS, something is going to completely change. No. But the traditional things, people started using technology. Where the robo is getting used. What is the disadvantage of using a robo, you tell me? No error. You consider that as a disadvantage.
It follows a certain vector.
Perfect. See, for example, if
you cannot think on its own.
you cannot think, yeah. So, for example, if you have a track length of 2 foot and there is an air hole in that, so it cannot sense the air hole, it will keep on laying the track and keep on going. That is one disadvantage. So, there are disadvantages in implementation of technology. So, the human intervention is also essential. It cannot do things on its own. So, there should be a mix and match. So, look at this, everything is IT industries. See, IT industry now practicing all these things. Now, who is the better user of lean? It's IT. It's absolutely IT. Of course, manufacturing is also losing, but predominantly now IT has moved their activities towards lean. Not only in the manufacturing style, but also in adapting style. See, for example, when you talk about SaaS, can anyone define SaaS? Is it possible? Okay, what does it mean?
So you can use software from cloud services and you can use it online on your system.
Right.
Java.
What is the advantage?
Example, we have this
Java.
in a Gmail we have a Word which where we don't need to download our say file, but we can view it online on the.
What is the advantage? Absolutely, you are right. What is the advantage?
Cost.
Reduces time. I don't
Cost.
Cost.
We can use original
Main is
software.
cost. See, if you happen to buy an office license, you have to invest, say, 13,000 rupees. For example, in a year, if you calculate your total utility for MS Office or only Word, you don't want Excel, you don't want this thing or other things. Only that, then some 200 hours, you will take only the 200 hours of time from something called Office 365. And you will pay only for that. You will not invest 30,000 rupees. That is the advantage of software as a service. So, we know all ERPs, right? Enterprise Resource Plan. We talk about SAP, we talk about Oracle, and we talk about Ramco Martian. Everybody now is in cloud space. There, if you want to process your payroll, only payroll module will take only for 1 month, process your payroll, say goodbye, pay for that and come out. Previously, you used to buy all the entire software. Martian, you have to buy, install it in your thing. So, can this be simply compared to the day in a day of utility whatever we have been using? We have been using electricity for 10 hours and we pay electricity bill for 10 hours. Similar to that. So all this as a service make things so simple that you don't have to block your money. You use it and for the usage you pay. So that's what I say. It is extremely following lean basically because it makes everything a utility model. Just utility. Just like any other utility, use it and you just pay for that. So, as I told you, the highest thing what implements lean is IT industry. Maybe how many of them are aware or how many of them not aware, I am not having any statistics about it. But overall, IT has really changed the entire paradigm of lean. It has fully absorbed lean methodology and its account. Likewise, more new concept has come, something called lean startup. You know what is startup? There is something called lean startup. Where how you can have your startup so lean so that your angel, angel investors, seed funding, and you will be knowing venture capitalists, right? So angel investors will be so much interested in fast exit, and your seed funding is very interested in immediate exit. Seed funders would like to stay with you for some time. Venture capitalists want to be with you. Where you grow, they take their chunk and they push. So this is more or less the operation level of all these things. So all these people focus more on lean startup because lean startup enables the expenses as low. The moment your expenses is low, what happens? Your profit shoots. And lean startup looks more customer based. We talk about anything like Paytm or Jabang or any of the companies. They have focusing purely on customer base. End to end, they wanted to have a customer base and they get bought over by somebody. So next one is a little bit interesting. What is this? Value add and non-value add. Any process and every process has something called value add and non-value add. Okay, so value add, of course, which directly involves with respect to generation of revenue. Non-value add, at times it may not. Some things can be avoided, some cannot. So, can I have some examples of non-value added which cannot be avoided? Okay. Okay. Then how? You have to tell me how. HR is very generic.
Companies HR don't really contribute to this directly. Still they are needed.
Perfect. Perfect. they are often considered as a non-revenue earners. But still, without HR, a company cannot function. Right, perfect. Then, anything else? How many of us are a little bit familiar with banks and reconciliations? Okay. So BRS, people generally say bank reconciliation statement. Those who have a little bit of accounts background. So BRS is a non-value add because it doesn't directly contribute to your revenue. But without that, the management doesn't even know where they stand. So that if you have a BRS, you cannot avoid, but see how fast you can do it. For example, automatic BRS may be one of the things. It may or may not be possible. But at the end of the day, if you can automate, you can reduce some time. Only all those things you can only reduce time, you cannot avoid. So generally if you see, if you take this as our work, most of them are not. Most of them. So if you just on the bird's eye view, if you see, everything will be value add only. You go a little bit deep into it and see every action from start to end, then we'll be able to understand that most of them are non-value add. Where some essential non-value add and non-essential. So non-essential need to be knocked off and essential need to be reduced down. So that this portion is likely to be higher. So the waste of doing things hard way, excessive paperwork, excessive approvals, redundancy. Okay, redundancy is a good topic. What is redundancy?
Rework.
Rework is not redundancy. Duplication, partly yes I would say. Repetition is also partly yes I would say. See, for example, you have two instruments in the same kind of instrument in the place where one fails, other picks. That is called redundancy. For example, we used to work in a project called Black Forest project. Black Forest is a huge cuckoo clock manufacturers in Germany. Why? Which one? Cake. Oh, okay. Cake or ice cream, whatever. So it's a huge cuckoo clock. They have a cuckoo clock like a house. There, what they do is cuckoo clocks. Cuckoo clock. Cuckoo clocks. Okay, I'm this fast. I'm sorry about it. Cuckoo clocks. So from small to like a huge, like a house, all made to woods. You know, when the wood logs are coming in the conveyor, there will be a lot of blade fixed in the conveyor. So they wanted to optimize the wood cuttings. So they will say what dimension they want to us. So what we need to do, we need to do a program so that when the log basically the log comes in the conveyor, we have to measure the length and width and the volume of the wood clock. Then we have to make the blade open. See, there will be series of blades. Like for example, if you see this conveyor like this, there will be series of blades like this. So depending on the design what they are asking us, we have to make some blade open, some blade close. So that the wood can be cut in the way which they want. Plus, what is the best advantage here? Exactly, it will reduce waste. So that is one of the interesting project what we did. That is some of the interesting project what we did was also from atomic power plant, where D2O, if I say people can understand, right? It's called heavy water, which is one of the very important thing for atomic power plant. So if the atomic power plant, if the D2O level is less, it will be alerted to a sensor so that we have to control the motor and the motor has to complete the D2. So it's a complete industrial automation stuff. We were in industrial automation for around 15 years. So these are all some of the interesting project models. So this is one of the best things that I'm talking about when, way back in 2002, 2003, they were asking us to do this project. So they were seeing how waste can be criminal. So they wanted to reduce as much as possible. No, this is what. So there they use this without redundancy. They don't want to have their conveyor or they don't want to have their sensors. Because if one sensor fails, the command what my software gives may open a wrong blade. So instead of saving waste, the entire log is going to be waste. So such cases, redundancy is essential. Poor communication, all of us know. I think that's what I'm doing. Anyway, causes for complexity. Multiple patches. Okay. Patches. When I say patches, what comes to your mind first? Decoding patches. With respect to softwares? Game patches. Okay. Then all of us use Windows. There is a standard saying, when the Windows releases a new version, don't use it until and otherwise they release first service pack. Basically, before first service pack, if you use, the probability of getting Windows crash is very high. That's what this survey used to say. So patches, see, that is going to cost. Again, cost. So cost is the one what you need to reduce here. So the cool factor of technology or machinery, right? See, everybody is going into IoT. I also want to go into IoT. So instead of it saving you, it is going to bother you much with finance. So it may be cool, whether it suits you or not. That is the thing what we need to see. We need to look at a simple solution. See, a very simple solution like bank reconciliation, what happens? If you try to implement technology and complicate that, then it's our problem. So this is the overall setup. Six Sigma and Lean objectives. Right? So this shift the process average, reduce the process variance, robust in process. Here it improves the flow, then reduce the process complexity. So the common thing between Lean and Six Sigma is both see to it that the reduced waste and then non-value added work and improving the safety. This is going to help us a little bit better. See, when we talk about Six Sigma, it is applied on the process. We talked about it's a delivery time, all those things, right? So, delivery time is a process. So, it is applied on the process, whereas Lean is applied between the process. For example, what I would say, okay, let me take a manufacturing example. We have to manufacture some 2 mm thin steel fabrication to be done. I have done that, and then it has to be powder coated. If it is to be powder coated, then it has to travel from Sriperumbudur to Sholinganam. So that is not really optimistic, right? So you have to have, if at all you want some product to be developed, then all those things need to be close together so that things can work faster. That is the thing what we need to look at basically, right? So Lean focuses on that, whereas Six Sigma focuses on if it is 2 mm sheet, exactly does it getting manufactured at 2 mm thickness. So
all of them should be closely associated. In certain places, there is tax exemption. I made a components of the part and I assemble it in different places. Therefore, it can be applicable.
Correct. There, Lean may not be applicable, whereas you will be getting the benefit by way of avoiding tax. See, you have to weigh between these two. By having closer, if you can save some 100 rupees, by having somewhere else, if you can save 1000 rupees, it's better you go there. There, it is not possible. So, there are some essential costs you have to incur to have a better saving. So, that comes under essential activity. This is not. If it is, if it is nearby, it is preferable. That is one of the choice that we can take care. So, that is how the Lean looks into. Okay. So, where it is applied? It defines value and identify the value stream, make it flow, let the customer flow, pursue perfection. Pursue perfection. Always. In the morning session also we have been seeing about perfection. The more perfect we are, there's nothing called 100% perfection. We all know that. That's the reason why even 6 is 99.99997%. So there's nothing called 100% perfection. But how far we are close, definitely our customers are getting satisfied. So how close we can achieve. Their focus is on flow. The non-value added items need to be exited and reduce cycle time. Okay. So the 5 steps of process: defining customer value, internal and external customer. What is internal and external customer?
Customers, stakeholders.
Internal customers are employees and external customers are typical customers. Then defining value stream, make it flow, pulling from the customer, striving for excellence. I think we have seen that through Dell example, of course. So eliminating wasted time and resources, building quality into one space. Okay. Then finding low cost but reliable alternatives. That is very important here. Low cost is good. For example, if any server need to run on 24/7 and we go for this service called platform as a service, it's a total cost. Why? Because this platform as a service ought to be executed for a definite or a finite period of time. Like for example, 3 hours a day, 5 hours a day, or 8 hours a day. If it is supposed to go for 24 hours, it's better you procure your own server and run it, which can be much cheaper. So that is what we have to do. Maybe technology is fine, but if there is an alternate which can definitely save you, you have to seriously look into that. Perfecting business processes internally. Right? I think HR contributes very high level with respect to recruitment processes, right? Because when you recruit, your norms and things are so stubborn and still, you will be recruiting people with exact specification whatever is coming from the department. Imagine that you make a flaw there. It's not only you fail there, you make the company fail. So that is the importance of HR. HR plays a very vital role in an organization. HR not only recruits but also motivates people. HR behavior only motivates people. When people ask, because every employee's personal activity is controlled only by HR. If I wanted to know how many leave I have, then I have to come to HR. If I want to know, what is the status of my salary or something, then this month it is likely to be delayed or something is going to be. Maybe finance is the deciding authority, but the information flows only from HR. So HR is a real key to any organization. That's what I would strongly say.
But nowadays, leaves and all, everything is online. No need to look at HR.
Payments, yes. People outsource it to Mafoi or something, yes. But recruitment, that's what I said. Depending on what you want with respect to recruitment, how frequently you recruit. If at all your job needs lot of recruitment, instead of going to Mafoi consultancy, I think it's better you have your own HR team, right? Otherwise, recruitment is one part, but you have to have HR team basically to motivate employees. How do you motivate? You engage. Engage is right. How do you know exactly grasp between people, different region people? How do you make a link? Only through HR they are linked. So that's what I said. HR plays a real vital role in any organization. Then building learning cultures for continuous improvement. Everything and anything can be learned from every aspect of activity. So that kind of a culture needs to be brought in, and only HR can push that into the organization. This is nothing but what are the various things of goal with respect to lean. Empowering staff, improve flow, eliminate waste, match resources need, learn by doing, identify problems, and doing work on time. So this is the ladder by which the strategy is decided by whom and everything. Okay. So when we talk about senior leaders, here I would like to ask a difficult thing. What is the difference between a leader and a boss? Leader who leads, that's from the definition. Leader guides, okay.
The leader says, the boss says,
boss orders, yes.
The boss says, you go. Leader says, let's go.
Let's go, right. That's called leaders work with. Leaders always work with. Boss, as she said, commands. Right, come on, do it. That's it. One more important quality of leader.
he's very proactive.
He's very proactive, yes.
Influence.
Motivates.
Influencing others, okay, to motivate, yeah.
Boss is dominating.
What? Boss is dominating, yeah. Forget about boss. I don't want to talk about boss. I want you people to be leaders.
Leaders has motivated.
Leader becomes a role model.
Leader becomes a role model. Expand that.
He knows the way, shows the way, and goes.
Correct. I said like, it's not a definition. Expand. If you happen to expand what you say.
Motivates.
Yeah, that's right.
A leader is a good team player.
Yeah, leader is a good team player. Leaders always create leaders. That is the best aspect of a leader. Leaders always create leaders. So because you need leaders, then only the organization will not depend on people, it will depend on the process. If a boss is there, boss will always feel that people need to be dependent on him. Leader doesn't do that. So the organizational growth, a leader is essential basically because leader creates leaders. Okay, so coming here, there is one interesting video. So you are going to see.
All right, girls, listen carefully. This is the wrapping department.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the candy will pass by on this conveyor belt and continue into the next room where the girls will pack it. Now, your job is to take each piece of candy and wrap it in one of these papers and then put it back on the belt. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Let her roll! Let her roll! Wait here, somebody's asleep at the switch.
What are you doing up here? I thought you were downstairs boxing chocolates.
Oh, they kicked me out of there fast.
Why? I kept pinching them to see what kind they were. The fourth department I've been in. I didn't do so well either.
All right, girls. Now, this is your last chance. If one piece of candy gets past you and into the packing room unwrapped,